Every year, these best books of the year lists come out, and more than just a shopping guide, they're actually pretty diagnostic. And The Guardian's, no surprises here, is the perfect MRI scan for the middle class, left-leaning psyche. This tells us exactly what the self-appointed cultural gatekeepers think we should be afraid of, what we should be apologizing for, and what we should feel guilty about in 2025. So what is this year's diagnosis? That mankind's a virus, because if you actually read the books on this list, there is no way you can come away with any other conclusion than mankind is a mistake and we should be sorry for just existing.
For the 12th night in a row, a coast-to-coast call to action.
It's actually worthwhile to first look at the 5-year trajectory of how we got to this point to really understand the depths of this depression. In 2020, the vibe was resistance. We had books about Trump that promised that if we just exposed the truth, the bad man would go away. We had race books that promised that if we all just felt guilty enough, then inequality would go away. The tone was frantic, but it was also hopeful because the declaration was, we have to fix this. In 2022, that energy collapsed and it all became about trauma. You remember that, don't you? The political fight failed and we were all told to look inward. We got the sad girl memoirs, we got the novels about processing grief. The message just sort of shifted from we have to fix the world, fixing the world, to we, us, we're broken. So what is the vibe? What is the zeitgeist that we are prescribed in 2025? Surrender! The authors on this list have decided that we have lost the culture war, we have lost the political war, we have lost the climate war, and the most honorable thing for us to do now is to document the decline.
No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
Typically in this section, we get the how to fight fascism memoirs, we get the why I was so great biographies of bygone politicians. But this year, it's a little bit different. It's more like a live autopsy. We have Richard Beck's Homeland, which is about how the war on terrorism came home and congealed into Trumpism, and it's not so much a call to arms as it is a cultural history of a disease. Jake Tapper's Original Sin, a brilliant title bemoaning how The Guardian's left-leaning cousins from across the pond self-imploded for 400 pages. Then we have what is probably the most telling pick, Ash Sarkar's Minority Rule. Guess what this one's about? Sarkar was the poster child for identity politics, but it seems like she's grown up a bit, because in this book, she argues how the left lost because it was obsessed, or is obsessed, with safe spaces. When even The Guardian's most favoritist radical is saying,
hey guys, I think we may have taken it too far with the pronouns in the bathrooms.
you know the panic is real.
They also predict that within 5 years of this, humanity will be wiped out.
If the politics section is a why we failed concession speech, then the science section is a why we deserve to die diatribe. And The Guardian this year is pushing two very a la mode types of doom. Doom type A. And is there any surprise here? The AI apocalypse. Predictably, The Guardian has selected books that only cover one side of the argument. Why is that? Do you even need to ask? Because, of course, it validates the anxieties of the laptop class. It tells them that not only are their knowledge jobs bullshit, they're also doomed. It confronts their self-righteous lie that they sure as hell don't use AI because of integrity, but more importantly, it gives them a grand role in their own destruction. Doom type B. Again, a very predictable talking point. It is eco-self-flagellation. The thesis here is super simple. We, humans, are a virus. We have books about the legal rights to rivers and how we should empathize more with woolly mammoths or water or something like that, because empathizing with other humans has just become far too difficult. The message here is loud and clear. Nature good, tech evil, you bad.
So what kind of impact could a steady stream of bad news have on your health? For more on that, I'm joined
If the
by...
present is a disaster and the future is hell, oh, reader-supported Guardian, wherever shall we go for fiction? The past, of course. This year's Nepotistic Industry Plant of the Year award goes to Ian McEwan's What We Can Know. The premise, a 22nd century scholar is looking back at the vanishing world of the 21st century. It sounds like a fucking university syllabus. Climate grief repackaged self-congratulatingly as high art. We also have David Zlale's Flesh, which I'm told is a bleak look at humanity, but do you see already what we're missing here? Joy, ambition. No wonder the mood of the world is so glum. These fuckers are perpetuating it. Where's the forward-looking optimism? Where's the idea, the Star Trekky idealism? But they've made fiction into some kind of museum where we go to look at the things that we've broken. Okay, we'll look at the memoirs quickly. The rule here is really simple. No trauma, no publication deal. Yi-Yin Lee spoke about losing 2 sons. Miriam Toews wrote about how her dad yeeted himself out of existence. Even Sir Anthony Hopkins had a respectable showing in the Trauma Olympiad with a recounting of his alcoholism. And when you stack all of this shit together, they, the news, the Guardian, the mainstream media, they're just creating such a depressing and suffocating worldview. They are fetishizing the wound. Well, because these lists are a shameless and blatant attempt to manufacture consent. They want us to comply with their misery. They want you to look into the future and feel hopeless. They want you to look into the past and feel ashamed. Well, I say,
fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you, I'm out.
I reject your prescription. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be told that I need to apologize for being alive. You papers claim to be looking down at the abyss and reporting it back to us, but the reality is whenever we go to your website, we are going down to the abyss to look at you. I want to read something that makes me want to live, that makes me feel alive, because the world might be messy, but it sure as shit isn't over.